Self-imposed limitations. In the early 1900s, Harry Houdini stunned Europe with his sensational escape acts and illusions. He escaped from every imaginable confinement, from straitjackets to multiple pairs of handcuffs to chains underwater. He loved to boast about his refined, almost magical skill, and was famous for walking into jails asking to be locked in a cell, only to appear minutes later boasting that no cell could hold him. Time and again, he would be locked in a cell only to break out to the dismay of many. Escaping from the most secure jail cells worked every time except for one. After being locked in a newly built jail cell in the British Isles, whose creators boasted an unbreakable seal, Houdini, wearing only street clothes, set to work to cleverly pick the lock and return to freedom. Now, what most people don't know is that Houdini was a master locksmith. In his belt, he had a myriad of different locksmith tools, including a thin wire that he commonly used on the locks. He was also a very confident man, believing he could escape from any challenge placed upon him. After spending about 10 minutes on the lock and coming out fruitlessly, Houdini began to think something was wrong. No matter how hard he worked, he could not unlock the lock. For 2 hours, he applied skill and experience to the lock, but failed time and time again. The ultimate confident Houdini could not pick the lock. He worked on the lock for another 2 hours before he collapsed in a sweat. He was physically and emotionally exhausted. He virtually collapsed against the cell door, which then sprung open. See, with all the fanfare, the press, and all the hoopla, the police, after shutting the cell door, forgot to lock the lock. Houdini had worked himself to near exhaustion, trying to achieve what could be accomplished by simply pushing the door open. The only reason the door was unable to open is because Houdini believed it was locked. In the end, the only place the door was locked was in his mind. True story. Often we believe that our limitations are caused by external influences, when in reality they are merely illusions we have created in our minds. You and I are the same way. We put self-imposed limitations on ourselves. And whether you think you can or you think you can't, you are right. Two famous quotes made by Napoleon Hill: "What the mind of man can conceive and believe he can achieve. And no man is ever whipped until he quits in his own mind." Ponder your possibilities and your limitations. Jill Summers, Move to Live Coaching.